welcome to another episode of IN.SYNC podcast hosted by myself, Kat, and my dear friend Tanya. Today we will be talking about how to start finding your purpose and unique path in life. And what we will be talking about in this episode is how to actually break down this big word purpose and how you can actually get started in finding your unique path. This is a topic that's very dear to our heart as well, and something that we constantly strive to do. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about really is how can you even break down this huge word? Because I think just people hearing purpose just automatically makes them take a step back.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
It's a huge buzzword right now. And I mean, you're asking that, I don't even know how to break it down. And I think it's like a constant journey that we are on, because I wouldn't even say, yeah, I found my purpose, even though I feel very much aligned with it, right? I think it's a constant journey in life. And purpose is for me that you're fulfilling why you are on earth, right? And that can be so many different steps along your life. I think my purpose as a kid was definitely something different than what it is now and what will be in 10 or 20 years from now, right? But for me, it's just being close to who you truly are and being honest of who you are and then following that. That's I break it down to you. What's your approach?
I love how you go straight into it. So I first wanted to dwell on, why is purpose even important? Why do people should have a purpose? Yeah, you're just like, this is the purpose. But I don't have a purpose.
Exactly.
So, I wanted to, I really want to put some attention to why is it even important to have purpose? Because I think maybe it's just a recent development. I actually think it is, but I feel like in the last few years, we hear more people talk about purpose. There's whole influencers that just became known for their work on purpose. Jay Shetty being one of the very big ones, right? He talks a lot about finding your purpose and being aligned with it. So I don't think people really talked about that much in the past, although it's such a huge quest that everyone's kind of looking for. A lot of people find purpose and meaning in having children or family. Other people find it in career also. But there's other people that just go through life without a purpose at all. And I feel like this is now really a topic where people should start thinking about. But then again, it's also a huge topic and it takes people aback. So I'm definitely taken aback by the word purpose. Yeah,
that's what I just wanted to say. I remember you saying always I didn't find it. I don't know how to get to my purpose. I tried so many different things. I'm not there yet where I was and that's also what came out in our first episode, right? You said, okay, it was always clear that I'm this person that is in startups and community. And it's always the stamp that I have on me. And that was very true. That feels very close to my purpose. But I wouldn't even say that everyone needs to have that. I think the source of it is, again, it's very cliche, but do what makes you happy, right? And I think also this is why it's a huge upswing right now in the trend, because I think years ago it was also important to do things that make you happy, but obviously our parents had different problems, right? They needed to secure their income, they needed to rebuild their lives after wars and all those things. So, if you go to Maslow and see the pyramid, there are other things that come first before it's in self-fulfillment and, happiness, so to say, in that quest. So that's why I think, because we are literally as a society, and again saying that in our bubble, so to say, obviously there are people that are not that privileged yet to be there, but for us, saying that, being in our 30s, trying different things, knowing what we want in our life and all those things, we have now this urge that we want to get more out of it, because we don't need to worry about financial stability, about, surviving after a war and all those things. We have Corona, which brings us back to other things of purpose. But that's why I think it's in a societal perspective, it is important now, because we are there that we all feel that there is more out there and we should invest in that now. And that equals purpose for me, just a quest to happiness.
Interesting enough, one thing that you just said really stuck to my mind. I just want to briefly talk about this, and that is, you said, now we know what we want in life. This is basically a purpose, right? Or it leads to purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm going to challenge you on that, because I also I think, I know what I want, but I can't but I can't say for sure, this is it. Like, I'm kind of going in that direction. I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. Can I say, like, I know what I want in life? Concretely, I can't. So neither can I narrow down my purpose, like my full purpose.
I actually did not see it as a big scale, what I want in life, but more like, okay, I want to live in, a city that is like urban, is metropolitan, has like international clientele, whatever. I want to have a flat by myself, like minor things in life that make my life nice and easy. So that was me, what I want in life. The big quest, I have no idea either. I have we talked about goals already at some point. And for me, like having a goal and where I want to be in 5 or 10 years from now, no, I just wanted to be happy. And also that's pretty much aligned with my values again, because freedom and happiness is, my utmost important parts. So and I'm just trying to follow that. But I think what for me, again, coming to the source of it is we stop sacrificing for things because we feel that we need to do that. Like, I need to be in this consulting job because I need to earn money and things like that. It's overcoming that, what society is telling you, the outside pressure. It's about, okay, what your parents would think. It's about what your boyfriend would think, what you think about yourself, because your ego says you need to be this status-driven person and things like that. And ignoring all of that outside noise and following what feels really right. And for some, it's like, I don't know, fighting for whales somewhere out in the ocean, doing like things like that. It can be so different, but like having this, being brave enough to ignore all the noises, including your own, and or voice in that sense in your head, and then just follow what you feel. What you feel is right. I think
and that's what I see. That's what I also feel like comes most closely to breaking down purpose, because it doesn't always have to be this high level concept of in 20 years I need to be this person, I need to fulfill this and that. It's really like purpose can be so much smaller and still be a valid purpose.
Definitely.
And sometimes I feel like, when you look at, for example, I'm really big Jay Shetty fan. Like, I really like his podcasts. But these
One time we'll interview him on ours, right?
Oh man, yeah. Like,
I'm going to
manifest this. Yeah.
Yeah, with your speed of manifesting, he'll be next time.
You'll be here next episode. And what I really like about I like him, but I sometimes when he interviews people and they talk about like, oh, my life's purpose and this is my life's purpose, blah blah. They're usually people that have accomplished something, that are older and whatnot, right? But I don't think these people woke up one day and they'll be like, oh, I know my life's purpose is to write a New York best-selling book. No, I think everyone starts with very small unique purposes, and then eventually you kind of see it fitting together. So like that's why it's like a puzzle, exactly. And so when I listen to these, I'm sometimes thinking it's great, I wish I would have that, but at the same time I also know it's not very applicable at my stage. So I'm almost taking a little bit aback by that, because I prefer to like live in like smaller pieces, because I can't grasp that full concept
but
yet.
I think this is totally right, and I feel like being friends with you so long now and following you on your journey, I think it pretty much comes together already to a certain extent. So I watched you closely over the last years and seeing, how your mind is also changing its perception towards those things. And yes, purpose is a huge word, but I feel you're like day by day, you're getting more aligned what excites you and what is your true passion and what is not ego driven anymore and what's not status driven anymore and what you should do because of XY, whatever. But you're just following, like seeing you now starting your own business here is like, the excitement in your face even and in your voice when you're telling me about it, that's just for me like following your true purpose. And that's mostly passion and what sparks your interest and your like your everyday energy. That's for me it. And it doesn't matter what it is in 10 years or so, but like just the fact that you're following that and that you do what excites you and getting closer to that goal every day, that's for me following your purpose and your path.
So this is, first of all, I love that that is the perception that you have from
your journey,
from what I do, because like I feel similar, like I really feel that excitement. But maybe then that made me think, you just said you are following your purpose without actually naming it as your purpose in life is to build a 7-figure business also. So maybe we all need to like rethink that concept of purpose being something that you can define as, my purpose on this earth is to have 3 children, or to build this business, or to write this book. Also, maybe purpose is as simple as to do what brings you joy. Maybe that is the actual purpose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's my approach to it. I mean, for me, I also feel that I have a purpose in a sense of like being a community person and stuff, but that can change. I don't think that this is my ultimate purpose. And I think in general, what humankind should do on earth is being happy and truthful and having a enjoyable life, right? Because why else are we on earth? I mean, a dog is also there to just be cute, more or less, but it's not like trying to be fearful or like having a miserable life, right? Everyone should be their true and best selves, and that's usually by actually for humans, I think it's following what gives you joy. And if this is like managing I don't know, your own Instagram account and being your own brand because this is something that you dearly love every day, then of course do that. If it's again like fighting for like freedom of whales out there or dolphins or whatever, then it's as well. If it's for me like building a community for empowered women, great, so be it. But for me, the important part is like everyday joy in it.
I love that, because I really do think that, the whole, again, like maybe it's just me, but I perceive purpose as a very complex word. And I really do think that, like, I'm taken aback, as I say, sometimes by this big word. And maybe it's just as simple as living and doing what you enjoy. And so, when people recognize the simplicity in having purpose, really the pure simplicity of this whole concept, then maybe they stop chasing like unrealistic goals, or goals that they might end up achieving, but that doesn't really make them happy.
Exactly. That's
so maybe
most
it's
of
just
the time
really that
right?
simple.
I love it to go break it down. And for me, like to follow your purpose or your passion, there is like comes a couple of things with it. And for me, it's first of all like understanding your values, and really, I think we like values is a topic that comes up every single episode because it's so true to my heart. And I feel this is something that you need to have straight, or you should have straight, to understand yourself better, why you feel the way. Because if impact is the thing that you want to have at some point, but you're not implementing it in everyday life, then maybe this is just not your value, and it shouldn't be integrated in your purpose, because it's just a lifestyle thing that you think you want to be, but it's actually not true to your heart. And I don't want to even judge, because sometimes money is like maybe your purpose, making money, because you have so much joy in having money. That's fair enough as well, but you need to understand, is this really a value? Where does this come from? Does it give me security? Do I need it because I had a hard childhood, and things like that? Understanding where all those things come from and where the beliefs are coming from, I think that frees you. And then on top of that, understanding the strengths you have, because for me, again, I mean, I'm not saying talent, because I think it's more or less just something that talent is something that you feel others are privileged to have, and maybe that's why you can't have it. But for me, that's not it. It's just something that you learn and you develop yourself into, and you put your everyday energy in. So this is why it becomes a strength, right? And usually if you're good at something, or if you're getting good at something, you enjoy doing it even more. So this is something, understanding where your true strengths are, and then following that path. Because again, if you do what you love every day, and that's just for me, then you get better in that every day. And then it's even truer to your calling, right? And if this is serving, then well, try to perceive that as a career, things like that. And not saying, okay, I can't, because everyone are always saying you can't make money with it. Things like that. You can make money as a surf teacher for sure, especially with people like me every day. So.
And I mean, now we talked a lot about finding your purpose and like trying to like simplify it a bit. So then that makes me think about, why would you even go on that quest, right? Because I also think there's two kinds of people. There's a lot of people these days, consciously or unconsciously. I think everyone consciously or unconsciously seeks purpose. Some people do it more obvious. Some people are really on that personal development journey, trying to figure it out, because they recognize the importance of, you know, having purpose so you can align your life accordingly. But then there's also other people who might not actually look for their purpose. So why would it be advisable for them to start looking for their purpose?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's again just being recalibrated towards joy, right? If you're miserable in your job and, you know, you're, again, maybe your value is freedom, but you're in your 9-to-5 job and you just do it because you do it for the money and things like that. I'm not saying you need to go on the quest searching for your purpose, but at least you should get realigned what is important for you, and that you shouldn't wait for your retirement or anything to live your life. Because again, I don't want anyone to realize at the age of 60 something that they just missed out on everyday joy just because they thought they are in this like thing that they need to do. And I think this is breaking up anyways. And I think this is why the huge word is there with purpose, but it's pretty much for me aligned with trying to free yourself of the limiting beliefs you have, that society is telling you why you can't do things, why things need to be the way that they always have been. Like, for example, not being able to, be an independent person like me now, sitting in Tel Aviv and working for my company there, because of this and this, because you can't build a company from, another continent. Well, yeah, you can if you really want to, and if this is one of your true values, and if you believe you can, why shouldn't it be possible? Things like that. And things that society is telling you aren't possible, just question that or ignore that and build your own reality in that sense. And yeah, it doesn't need to be purpose. Like, I would also not even say I'm following my purpose. It's just more I'm doing whatever feels right to me. And like 4 years ago, or 5 or what, I don't even know when that was, 6 years ago maybe, when I had my own business, that felt right for me. It was like, I really want to start a startup, because I felt this idea was true to my heart, or this problem. So this is what I did back then. And then I realized, well, that's not exactly what I want. And now I'm in a community building sphere, which is different. So again, it's not about purpose. It's back then, this gave me joy. This is what I really love to do. This is what I wanted to invest my time and resources in.
Yeah.
And now it's something different. And if I would always look for this purpose, hey, I want to be a startup founder in this business or industry, that's not a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And this can change. So I think, just ignoring the purpose weight as big as it is, but changing your everyday approach to life. This is
changing it. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I agree. It keeps changing all the time. Whereas, and maybe it's just me, but I do see when I hear purpose, and I think like this overarching theme that should be in your life, defining your life. But really, it's changing every day, and really, it's quite simply finding your joy in your everyday, what you're doing. And I just wanna throw it out there because it just came to my mind, and I know it's a very controversial topic, but I just want to discuss that briefly. When I know a lot of people who say, who in my view maybe lack purpose a little bit in life, and they define their purpose based on having children. And you know me well, so you know where I'm getting at. But just for context, I personally don't think my soul is on this earth to produce children. I
love
just
producing.
So it's like that. And I don't know, I just don't feel like this is the journey of my life on this planet. I don't have it in me. And so I have very controversial conversations with people about this, because then people will be like, oh, but it gives you purpose. And I'm like, no. And so this is why I want to speak about this, because I think there's also I think it appears to me that sometimes people they don't know what their purpose is. They never really put any time in figuring it out, and so it's an easy way to say, oh, I'm going to have a family and children, and that is my life's purpose. And I have nothing against people who want to have children. Please, everyone should have children if they really want them. But I would like everyone to have children for an actual reason, and a true reason. My reason is because I love giving, I love receiving love also, and not because
number one value is family,
or family also, but not because it gives them a false sense of purpose. I get really strong reactions to that. So
that's very true. And I mean, honestly, I think some women, and in that sense it's really women, right, are on earth because their purpose is getting children. So I'm like having also people in my friendship circle where I feel, wow, this will be it. This is exactly how the character of this person is built. And I think this will be like her number one, like, you know, happiness bringer in life is having children at that point. So I think for some it's really true, but I totally understand and I totally agree to you saying, okay, it's a false sense of purpose, but so is to get married, for example.
Yes.
All this, or getting this into
sorry, I just need to quickly interrupt you because I do think for some people, as you also say, it is purpose, right? It truly is purpose because but they have different reasons. They love giving, they love nurturing people, they love educating people, like they love giving knowledge, and I think that is purpose. But just to say I have children and that is my purpose, like, no, that's a false sense of purpose.
No, it's like something you put your life on hold until a certain thing is happening, right? So this is, you are like sacrificing your everyday joy because you're waiting for this one moment, and that can be like getting kids, getting married, getting this, I don't know, 6-figure job or whatever. So it is something that has, for me, and this is the same, it's the same alignment. You're like searching for this one excuse or this one happening in your life that should be your, like, you know, purpose then, or the end goal. And that's just not it, right? I mean, you're just keeping yourself busy with raising kids then, or like, you know, being in a relationship. But in the end, you need to know what brings you joy in the first place. And you need to be your true person, yourself first, before you're like, you know, having other things on the...
And sorry, because I just interrupted you on that. And then you also said, and the same with getting married and stuff, right? So I again, here, I think when people choose to get married and they do that for their own reasons, like, I love that bond, I love loving, I want to make this person feel special, and I feel like this is a representation of my love, then I'd be the first person to be like, yep, cool, okay, you know, should please get married. But I look around and I see so many people either getting into a relationship or getting into marriage for the wrong reasons.
Definitely.
And I'm very opposed to that as well. So again, like I personally don't think I want to get married unless, you know, I feel like there is the right driver behind it. That doesn't mean that I don't want to commit, like, quite the opposite. Like, I'm like very much into like deep commitment, and I really want to have a life partner as well, but I want to do it for the right reasons.
Yes, I agree. No, 100%. And I think that's also, like, again, a false thing. And I think it's just like so much better once you're anyways on the quest of like having your own life together, and then getting someone else in. And it doesn't matter who it is then. And it also can be just a close friend. It's way better if you are like on your journey already and you are like an independent self that conquers, you know, your own purpose or whatever life goals in a sense, and then you are like, you know, adding kids and a life partner, and is it marriage or not, but then it's because of the right reasons. And again, I also think some people are actually meant to just be wives or husbands because they are so caring and they want to have, like, you know, it's just different values again. So for some maybe that's true, but again, I think you need to be your own person first.
But also there, as you say, like they want to love and stuff, so then, you know, that is the purpose of their soul on this planet, to love and to give love, and to receive love. That is all fine. I just have like such a strong feeling for people who say, and I mean, I can only speak from experience because I get this all the time. Well, if you don't want to get married and if you don't want to have children, what's your purpose? And then I'm like, you literally define yourself by having a ring on your finger and like getting a human out of your body. Like, that's not purpose. You know, if you were to tell me, you know, okay, if you would tell me, okay, you don't want to be loved and you don't want to love back, like, what is your purpose? You know, that would be something that you can, you know, discuss at least, you know. And I'm definitely not saying that I don't want to be loved or like not loved, like I want this, but I want to have it the right way, right? And so that's why I always like, it really like pisses me off almost when people say
it is that. I think for you, like again, judging based on previous conversation, it's because I think for you, because you strongly feel that you don't want to have kids, and that's something that is changing a lot in terms of, you know, or that is provoking a lot of like, you know, people that are saying that's not how it should be, right? You're a woman, you're supposed to have kids, and yet that's your life purpose because that's life and that's cycle of life and that's how it's supposed to be. But me knowing that I want to have children. I'm okay if life is not giving me them. I'm saying that now, maybe I'll cry in a couple of years if it's not happening. But because I'm not having this thing that I'm going into conversations like that, I never heard that, for example. Like,
really?
Literally, also, no one is ever asking me if I want to have kids, not even on dates.
Really?
No.
You know what? Weird. Oh my God, this is so weird, because I get this asked. I get this asked all the time. And it's actually been a deal breaker already. Like, not just once, a couple of times. How come we've never spoken about this?
Yeah, I don't know. But like, I literally never. Like, I'm opening up the conversation with, okay, how you want to have like your life in a couple of years from now, and then maybe we'll discuss it. But I mean, anyways, because it's not a big deal, because I'm okay with getting married and getting kids, and
but
also not.
Do you also see, I mean, this is very interesting, because it shows you that, you know, the values that you hold within yourself, whether you know them or whether you don't know them, you give up that vibe.
Yeah.
So there is a reason why I'm being asked that, right? And I got asked this so much that I actually now put it on my dating profile. I don't want children.
Oh God. Yeah, but then it's provoking again, because like, wow, she even made a statement towards it. Like, you really need to hate kids, right?
Yeah, but then at least, you know, now I filter all of these people out who just approach you for, like, I don't know, maybe they see you as like some, I don't know, who pushes out their mini version of themselves or so, you know, like, because I get this asked all the time, like, and very early on as well, like, do you want to get married, and do you want to have children? Not saying that these guys want to marry me, like, definitely not saying that, right? Just saying, this question has been posted frequently, and especially over the last 2 years or so. But it's interesting that you didn't get that. Yeah. But I had this conversation with somebody recently as well, and I don't remember who it was maybe a few months ago, and I also said, like, I get asked this I'm being asked this all the time, and I get annoyed with it. And then a friend said, oh, not at all. And I'm thinking, it's so weird, right? Why do people ask me this? So this just brings me back to, you know, when you know your purpose and when you know your values inside.
Oh,
you find it out.
Wait, oh shit.
It's so important that you are clear on these things.
You're stuck. Can you close your...
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Better now?
Yeah, you want to try again?
Better?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay.
So.
All right. So yeah, I mean, basically that is, you know, that just shows you that if you know all of these things for yourself, why you're here, like, what are you doing, why you're doing it, whatever your values, subconsciously or consciously, you will project that out. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that's for sure what it tells. I mean, I want to like cover one topic that I heard also a lot. That is, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do and how I get started with this, right? And that's not even for like early age, something where, you know, 18, 19 and you want to figure out life and what you should study and stuff. But also in like, in 20s and early 30s, you sometimes come to like this road where you just like, you know, need to pick a direction and you have no idea what you actually enjoy. So what was your like journey, or how was your journey so far that you said, okay, that felt right, or I get started with this? Like, do you have any advice you could share?
I think we all have it in us. We know what's right. We know which direction we should go. It's not like, you know, you will not wake up and you'll have posted in front of you that says, you know, you should not take this job and do something else. This is not how obvious it's going to be presented. It's somewhere within you. And when I started listening to that more, that's when I started discovering my purpose more and more. And that's the journey that I'm on now.
No,
what about you?
I mean, yeah, like I have no idea if, like, thinking now back, obviously it's like it always had kind of the thing for me that this comes to startups, right? But when I'm thinking back, I'm coming from a tourism background, right? I went to cooking school in my hometown.
I completely forgot about that. Yes.
It's a bit different. And there is no startup approach there. Some basic economical principles, but that is it. And I actually never wanted to study, right? And I was on this gap year travels with my best friend back then. and we went to Italy. And I mean, I'm coming from a business family, so my mom always had her own businesses, and my dad as well. But that was never anything that I was like, okay, I want to do this. And I don't know if you had like this friendship books when you were a kid as well, where, you know, every friend of your class wrote things down. And when they were asking, what do you want to be, like which profession do you want to follow, I was always like, shit, I don't know what to put there. So I always like just wrote what other kids wrote, like kindergarten teacher. Me being a kindergarten teacher, can you imagine? But I wrote it down because of peer pressure, because I did not know what to put. I never had to think that, yeah, this is something that I want to pursue. Never. So yeah, that's why I went to like this cooking school, because there were a lot of languages with it, and I felt tourism travel is like something that I really enjoy. So why not going in that direction? Even though I wanted to go into this IT school, but that was too far away from my hometown, so that's why I decided against it. And then on this beach in Italy, I read a random book about 3 girls that started their own business. It was a shopping center, and it was very unique. This is the only thing that I can remember. And this was for me the spark, and that's why I love how things can turn out. Random book that I got in any of the bookshops there, and for me it was like, wow, I want to be like them. I want to put my own unique strength into something meaningful. I want to live for this, like with my own purpose, like with my own passion, like every day. So this is what I got out of this book. 3 women getting themselves into like a really cool business where they felt they can really put their unique strengths into place. I was like, okay, this is it. And this was the point where I searched for like entrepreneurship university that I could get started with. So before that book, I actually wanted to go into the hotel industry. Like, imagine me waiting tables. I did that. It was fine, but I'm not this person. So I was like, this was for me the changing point towards like my entrepreneurial career. A book.
It's so crazy, right? Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, and I really do think like the quest for looking for your purpose comes to you when you're open to it.
Yeah.
And luckily you were open to it when you're very young and you got this book. And this was the thing that changed it. And there's probably there's other situations where it comes to you through certain situations also. But when you are on that self-development journey, then that,
I mean, I think I wasn't on a journey when I was 19, right? You just came to me.
No, that's why I said like, it felt right.
Yes, and like following that passion, that sparks you feel. Like when you asked me in the last episode how I feel fear when I'm about to puke, and when I feel spark and that I'm on the right track, I'm getting this bubbly feeling in my belly, right? Like this excitement thing. I'm like, okay, this is it. So this is something I want to pursue, or I want to like have a better look at it. That doesn't mean that I necessarily follow it, but at least I'll be open to it, and I'm searching, okay, is this something that really, you know, could be something? Doesn't matter. Can also be business ideas, can be like any website ideas that I have, whatever it is. Whenever I have this spark towards anything in my life, then I'm trying to follow it, or at least find out what's behind it. And in that case, it was that. And a couple of years later, I had another redirection. When I felt very strongly about going into community. So this is when I had my own startup, and I was pitching like something on a pitching competition somewhere in Hungary. And that's also something like boom. And I realized, shit, I should be on the other side. I should help those people instead of like me pitching on there and like sharing the knowledge that I gained over the last years being in the startup scene. So this literally also changed my whole direction. Back then I was a startup founder, and then I like changed into the community work, which is why I got all these fancy awards and everything in the last years, because it just felt right, and it really gave me joy the last years. Maybe not in the future, but you never know. Yeah, but I agreeing to being open and listening to what feels right, and what
and it will come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a nice roundup from this episode. So just to summarize, like the key things that I took away from this session, starting with the last one, actually, purpose and the quest for purpose will come to you when you're ready. So it might come to you through a book that will change your life, or it will come to you purely through the realization that, you know, there's not going to be a book. You just have to start listening to it and tune in more. So it can come through all sorts of ways, and you just have to remain that openness and looking out for signs, if you will. Then right in the beginning, we talked about like breaking it down. And what I took away from that is actually purpose is actually can be broken down quite simply to doing what you enjoy and what you love, rather than looking for this high level concept. My purpose is to write a New York best-selling book. Your purpose on this planet might just be to do the things that you love, and that is it. And then lastly, I think we can all agree that purpose changes all the freaking time, and it does also something to also remain open towards. So not having that idea in mind that it needs to be this fixed concept. It can change, it should change, and it's beautiful that it does.
Yes, 100% agree.
Sweet. I really enjoyed that session, and now your dog is barking.
That's the end of it.
And so, actually, this is a sign that this is the end of the session, and I look forward to the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed that too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.